What's going on, everybody? Today I am going to walk you through quickly how I built this solar panel awning for our camper, and I'm going to finish up building a bracket for this to be mounted flat on the roof. I didn't get to record as much as I wanted to because there was weather coming and we needed to get everything sealed up before it rained. Alright, so we have a 2x4 painted white with a bunch of lag bolts and washers ready in it. We've pre-drilled all the holes into the roof as well. And now we've got it covered in sealant. We're going to flip it over and put the bolts in. Everything looks miles better with the paint on it. I did get a little bit on the solar panels here and there, but it's not a big deal. I'm not really sure why these are black anyways. I feel like it'd be better for them to be white. And I should probably do the bottom side still. So, looking good. This is the original blueprint that I drew up, and it pretty much came true, more or less. We've got to paint the hinges, and there's a little bit of exposed wood there. I left the bottom side unpainted so that the sealant would adhere to the raw wood rather than the paint. So when we were lifting these panels up, since they had been on the ground for so long, we didn't realize that just like this single panel, a bunch of ants, quiet please, a bunch of ants had moved into the frame. Okay, so what I've got going on for the single panel is this tube of square aluminum. I've got 2 holes drilled at the distance for the mounting holes on the back of the panel. Simple plan is use diagonal cut to access the bottom of the tube, so I can drill a hole in here, mount this to the roof, have the hardware go from here into the solar panel, and then I'll do another diagonal cut on this side, same thing, and then I'll just have another one out of the other half of this tube. So I'll just need 2 of them for the back of the panel. Almost fell in the gutter. Alright, that should do it. So close. Got it slid into the mounting point here, but as luck would have it, the wing nut doesn't actually clear the back of this black frame here. I was hoping to make this flat panel a little easily removable. I was hoping to make this flat panel a little more easy to remove because the hinged panels allow for a lot more movement to remove hardware if there's anything wrong. So I was hoping to make this a little easier access by utilizing something I could undo with my fingers. But that doesn't seem to be an option with the setup that I've given myself here. So I might just have to use a normal setup here. Alright, got all 4 bolts in and holes drilled for the mounting brackets. I'm gonna go ahead and move this thing outside. Before there's going to be space up here for this panel, we're gonna have to delete this TV antenna, which we have no problem with because we don't really watch TV off the antenna anyway. So this panel's gonna have to stay down here for now. If you come inside, there is a tiny little Allen key on the side of this crank, and you're gonna undo this. Crank comes off. You can pull the whole antenna off the roof now. Alright everybody, I ran all the cables through the hole off camera. You can actually see them right there. There's 2 holes. There's a smaller hole underneath here and this large hole for the actual crank. So I'm actually just going to put a block off plate here. I've got this small junction box going just to create more of a, I don't know,
a chamber
between outside and inside. I'm going to, glue this thing down, seal up all the walls and seal up the plate before I put it back on there, and this should be good to go. I've already got the ones on the awning plugged in. They're pulling like 255 watts right now, and the sun's getting pretty low, so I'm pretty happy with that. The single glass panel is still down there. I still need to get it up here just to see how it's going to fit. I'm creating this aluminum plate to block off the rest of this area where the roof membrane has been damaged, and I've kind of marked up some trim lines, so then I'll just have this exposed piece of wood here and here to cover with sealant, and I'm feeling a lot better about that. So far so good. Now that I got holes and the plate trimmed up, I am cleaning this up with this is waterproof. So far it looks pretty good to me. I need to get a little more sealant down in there, maybe on that side as well. I'm going to throw a screw into one of those holes to lock that junction box in place. This should be ready for the new panel to go over the top of shortly. For some reason this hole wouldn't work. There must be metal plate in the ceiling or something blocking some cables, because I just had to fill it with more sealant, which is unfortunate, but it's not really structural, it's just weather protecting. So 5 screws should do it. Alright, first time having all 3 panels up, and it actually looks incredible, feels amazing. This is a dream come true. This is actually a lot tighter than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to have like half a foot here and here to work with, but we're pretty much taking up the entire roof. The only reason that that's a problem is because there's a radio antenna right here, which I think will clear just fine, you know. We're just not going to be able to stick it straight up, which is fine. I was thinking about deleting it anyways. I thought it might be nice. I might just put a 90-degree bend here so that we can just have it in a fixed upward position. The other issue, potentially, is the junction box. I need to mess with this a little bit more, and then we'll see what makes sense. Alright, after too many hours of spraying and scrubbing and running out of cleaner and going to the store, I think it's about time to flip this thing over and put some sealant on the back of it. As I was getting off the roof to go lay those panels down for a better sun angle, I noticed that the roof actually slopes down. I don't know if you can see that, but there's like maybe 3/4 of a foot that's just hanging off the roof there. So I might need to go ahead and build some sort of spacer. About the width of a finger. Okay, we'll see. This is what I've got going on right now. Tripod holding up the solar panel. This is a one-man operation, so I need everything suspended in place so that I can just lower it down where it needs to be. So I've already lined it all up and then just kind of, you know, pivoted off that point. It might need a little adjustment, but we'll get there when we get there. And then I just made these little leftover square tube aluminum feet that have a slight diagonal angle. This is just going to be glued onto here, and then the bolts will just pass through them into the roof, because it's only like half an inch maybe, so I'm not super worried about that. I've just put 2 carriage bolts in the front end of this thing, and that's what it's looking like. I've got the little angle iron underneath there with a little bit of silicone. I just sealed up that whole entire end over there, and honestly it's some of the worst sealant job I've ever done, but I am guaranteeing you it will stay waterproof, and that's what matters here. So as I balance on the edge of this rooftop, I'm going to just glob this thing up and then seal up the other end too. To anybody who might be curious, we are using a E2000 LFP. This is a Pecron brand battery bank with an inverter built in for AC outlets, USBs, you name it. So this thing has been pretty darn good for us, and we are charging 1 solar panel on a single cable, and 2 of the solar panels on the awning are plugged into each other, wired in series with each other. So far I would definitely recommend this thing. Alright, to wrap things up, I'm going to go through some of the costs and predicted costs of electricity as well to see if this is worth it. About $100 per panel. Found him on Facebook Marketplace. We got these really nice industrial grade LG panels, and they are awesome. We bought 3 of those, roughly $300 on solar. The battery pack for about $800 on a Black Friday deal. The cables cost $40 in copper cabling to run everything through. Sealant is about $20, and overall, with all the aluminum purchased, that was about $100 as well. So at the initial setup we have right now, we're at about $1,260, which is not awful. I just did a quick Google search and found out the average Minnesotan electricity bill is around $150 at 12 months in a year. That's $1,800 a year for electricity. that's pretty good considering we're able to run everything off of this setup, the air conditioning, the oven, literally everything. On really hot days, the air conditioning does burn through the electricity pretty quickly. So we are already considering getting the 3,000 watt hour expansion pack. Is going to be another $1,000. That's $2,260, and that really is not bad. Considering over time batteries lose their charge, batteries lose their capacity, and sometimes solar panels stop functioning. So this may require more maintenance over time, but for the foreseeable future, we have a free electricity for under 2 years worth of bills on average, and that is pretty sweet. Well, I hope this video was helpful, or maybe you learned something from it, and thanks for watching.